All right, it's time to take a look at what is happening at Bryan Insurance Agency, you guys. So, what's going on?
Well, we were talking about just some different things that go on in the summer. Just like a couple weeks ago in Graham, the food truck championship, all the hotels, in the area were booked. And there's actually a lot of people in this area that have Airbnbs or short-term rentals, VRBOs. And it just kind of got us to thinking it's summertime, vacation time, and people do rent their homes out for people that want to stay there on vacation. So we thought we'd talk about that.
All right, so Airbnb, is it kind of like the DoorDash thing where you got to be careful about renting out your stuff?
Well, you just need to just be sure that you have thought and talked to your agent about the different types of things that can happen that would be different from, say, just having a regular rent house that you rent to the same person for the whole, they have a lease, a 2-year lease or something like that. It's a little bit different type exposure than that.
So there are landlord policies out there for long-term rentals, but with all homeowner policies, they're not designed to cover short-term rentals. That is a higher exposure that the insurance companies are not willing to take on without additional premium. And so there are programs out there that you can write your home through to cover those types of risks, or endorse your current policy to also cover those types of risks. That's like damages from renters. So if you rent it out, they come in, they trash your home, who pays for that? Well, your typical homeowner's policy would not cover short-term rental.
Right, because that probably wouldn't be considered vandalism because you invited them in, to your home. So it's a little bit different. Where those special policies and endorsements would cover if the people that rented damaged something in your home, it would cover that.
So you'd have to civilly sue them.
Yeah, but these policies just kind of anticipate that some of that's going to happen when you're renting to different people all year long.
Yeah.
With it being kind of going from personal lines, this falls into like the business category, into commercial lines. So a lot of that, there's a lot of coverages there that don't typically cover what a business exposure would have, and one of them is like loss of income.
Right.
So there are endorsements that you can put on your homeowners to actually cover loss of income, in case, let's say, your house does get trashed and you're losing out because the next weekend's 4th of July, and you got a big rental season coming up.
Yeah, some people invest money in homes in resort places, or just for the purpose of renting them out because they know they can rent them out every weekend during a certain season. And then if they did have what if they had a fire, or if they had a tornado that damaged their home and they couldn't rent it out, then they would be losing that income, and they're counting on that because they invested in that property as an income. So those special policies, endorsements can cover things like that. So just like with most things, I know we sound like a broken record every time we come in here. The smartest thing to do is talk to your agent ahead of time, let them know what you're doing. Is it an occasional rental, or is it all the time? Do you maybe have other structures on those, because those coverages are a little different? So say you have a home and you have a pool house, well, the pool house might be covered a little bit different, so you just need to talk to your agent, make sure they know what you have and that you've covered your bases. I read about something, and I knew people do this because we've seen it at almost every college sporting event we've ever gone to, and that's people charging you to park in their driveway. We joke that we should do that at the house. We wouldn't really charge people though. Right. But I know it's a little different topic, but in researching this, I looked at that, and there's really very limited, probably no coverage on your homeowners if you charge people to park in your driveway. If somebody got hurt, and they sued you because of that, there's probably no coverage. So just be aware.
Question I got about these Airbnb things. Okay, is there like a zone laws or anything like that?
Yes.
Because I'm sitting there thinking, you can't just say.
Like in Dallas, where they had all that problems, where there were shootings and all of that.
Right.
Not just zoning issue, but a lot of it is when they do zone it, there's some ordinance. Some cities do this where they actually require you to have certain type of coverages for your home. There are some cities out there that actually make you have a full-on commercial policy for the property, for your general liability, and the whole 9 yards because of these issues. Some of the, I guess, short-term rental companies out there like Airbnb have tried to help out their customers by having something called like air cover, which on those policies it can cover up to $3 million of property damage and liability.
Oh, wow.
But that's similar to like Uber with their version when they do the phases. Once you log in, you're on their policy versus your own. Yours becomes secondary and theirs becomes primary. So there are some, I guess, communities out there that, yes.
Yeah,
I was sort of thinking if you got to notify like the city, say, hey, you know, we're using our home for an Airbnb. I don't know if that affects your insurance in any way whatsoever, because that way if something does happen, insurance company come back and say, look, your house wasn't zoned for that.
Well, I think, and we don't work for Airbnb or VRBO, so, but I think that, like Brad said, I think if you sign up through their services, I think they'd probably help you cut through that red tape and look at where you're located and let you know what's required. But if you decide to do something on your own, then you need to investigate that and probably talk to the city and county offices of where your, you know, Airbnb or where your house is located to find out what the rules are.
Well, I know when the food truck thing happened, I know we had a lot of programs at Lions Club about it, and they were telling people we don't have any hotel rooms, that you got to check into the Airbnbs around town. I didn't realize we had that many of them.
There are a lot, yeah, and some of them look really cool.
Yeah.
I was just looking for the fun of it after one of those meetings. I was like, I wonder how many there are. And I mean, there's some little small cottages, and there's some big homes. There's some beautiful homes with pools. Some are inside the city limits. Most are outside. Some out at the lake.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a handful of them down the street from my house, and there's that one that you drive down. I guess it's 67, and it says like vacancy, no vacancy inside the shed. I'm like, well, I'm really curious now.
Yeah. We have a couple of times between Christmas and New Year, in other towns, we've gotten Airbnbs with our grandkids. And it's kind of a different experience, but when you're wanting to cook meals and not have to, you know, take all the grandkids out to breakfast every day or whatever, it's a neat way to stay and see a community a little different than a hotel. So.
Yeah, depending on the sizes and things like that. But yeah, I would say that if you are renting out a property, boy, you better get the insurance straightened up, because I can imagine there's 10 million things that could possibly happen.
Well, like in Dallas, like when those kids are renting it and they're having this a huge party and they're underage drinking and shootings and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well,
they're
like
super,
the one we went to in Oklahoma had this big old giant hot tub sitting out on the back porch, and our 6-year-old grandson's out there acting like it's a swimming pool.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, that thing, if it collapsed or whatever.
Or he dove wrong.
Yeah, or all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. I think that our grandkids, or somebody may have torn the felt on the pool table.
Yes.
But we didn't ever have to pay for it, so I guess our little glue worked.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just a lot of variables.
Yeah, there are, but it is if you're looking to rent them, it is a neat, different way to stay.
Okay, so if you go in as a rentor, can you buy a policy to say, hey, I'm going to go rent this weekend so to keep me out of trouble in case I burn the place down?
No. I think you would have some extension of coverage from your homeowners.
I do not know. Let me get back with you.
Yeah,
on that.
would have to get back to you on that. But I don't know of a policy you can buy. But I think some of your personal homeowners.
Yeah, I was going to say your liability
would extend to
that kind of
thing. Yeah, it wouldn't be really any different than renting
like a hotel.
Hotel, yeah, same thought process.
Oh, I'm just wondering.
Rick. What, do you plan on doing this?
No, I'm
You're
just
gonna
trying
burn
to.
down somebody's Airbnb?
Believe me, this is what happens. I have, over the years of being married to Sonia, realized that there's a lot of things going on, and it's called worrying about or risk management.
That's right. It's just like I know that there's certain things you can't say on the radio. Rick knows certain things that you need to think about.
Exactly.
Especially.
It just comes over the.
Right. And so that's what I'm saying. I mean, I realize over the years now that, I always joke to Sonia about insurance people suck the fun out of everything in life, because I was like, now, wait a minute, before you do that, you need to think about this. Well, now I certainly think about this, so nowadays.
That's right.
So that's why I was asking.
And you're some of the most boring people in the world too, right?
Well,
Our grandson Bo will tell you that insurance is much cooler than radio.
Yeah, because of the office supplies.
Because I have a bunch of cool office supplies. I have a dry erase board. I have a Brad
Yes.
in my office.
Yeah.
You have a Brad.
I was trying to test out.
Can you rent that?
No, but there's a lot more fun things at my office for them to do, or people for them to see. Than
Yeah, when they come here, they sit in those 2 chairs over there and are told, do not go past this line over
we
here.
have snacks and cokes and
Yeah.
fun people to
Because
talk
I told
to.
them, I said, if you go past this line over here, both of you are going to be out in the street.
So while they were
Yeah.
here, it was just funny because Rick's teased me all the time about my boring job. While they were here, Bo asked me, what is insurance? So I explained it to him. He said, that's interesting and much cooler than radio. And I was
Yeah.
like, yes.
Yeah.
That hurt, didn't it, Ray?
No. There's noise talking about it. All right, how do folks get a hold of you guys? They need to ask any questions on any of the things we talked about today.
Oh, they can call us at 940-549-2525 or visit us on the 2nd floor Sierra Bank Building.
If you're in Hudson Oaks, we're at 2950 Fort Worth Highway, Suite 500. That number is 817-770-0096.
And when you get finished searching for your next Airbnb vacation, come see us at brianins.com. That's Brian with a Y.
All right, we're going to have some of our great sponsors. We're going to come back. We got your Wednesday helpline, so stick around. It's a wake-up call, and it is a Wednesday.